Mm.
The purpose of this speech is to inform the audience of the K2 drug. The specific purpose of my speech is the audience should know and understand the effects and why people use the K2 drug. My name is Chandler Horton and the date is March 6, 2014. In the past few years, there has been an epidemic across the world with the use of synthetic cannabinoids found to be used mostly by teenagers or young adults. Synthetic cannabinoids are used to mimic the effects of THC and marijuana. These are commonly known as Spice or K2 when being sold in smoke shops and gas stations. According to Hugh, users believe these products are safe because they're being sold in stores around the world. In this speech, I will cover what chemicals are known to be in the drug, experiences people have felt while using this drug, and why people tend to purchase the drug. Many cases have been reported of these legal drugs having extremely horrifying outcomes that were not supposed to happen. Scientists are researching this new craze around the world to try to identify what chemicals are actually in these synthetic cannabinoids. Research from all over the world have been able to identify a few main compounds that are present in almost all of the spices that have been tested. According to Simmons, the JWH compound is discovered by J.W. Huffman. These compounds are made they're made to have intended use for the medical use around the world, but when they were first made, they didn't realize how bad they were. This is the JWH compound. This is its chemical structure. The cannabinoid receptors are also known as CV receptors, and they're found in synthetic cannabinoids that differ in the chemical structure than THC, but they mimic the same effects of marijuana. The cases that have been studied suggest that the JWH compounds located in the K2 drug are extremely more potent than THC. Another compound that's found is the HU210 compound. It is known to be 100 times as potent as THC, and the CP compound is another one, and it is known to last from 5 to 8 hours in length, which is more than the normal amount marijuana is recorded to be. These compounds may cause more harm than than the use of marijuana because they are full cannabinoid receptors as opposed to THC, which are half cannabinoid receptors. If too much of these chemicals are obtained, they are known to be life-threatening. Each package of spice has a different amount of chemical in them because you can never tell exactly how much chemical is being sprayed on the spice. So overdose is very easy to happen because you never know exactly how much you're going to smoke. The K2 drug has had an enormous list of its different effects on the consumer. There have been so many different symptoms that people have had while using this drug for recreational purposes. As most drug users report, there has been cases of good experiences, and there also have been extremely bad experiences that were not expected to happen. Some users experience elevated moods. This means that they begin to feel better than they did before they used the drug. Some have felt more relaxed and had decreased hostility. Many users feel that they have to be high in order to find this state of mind. The majority of the users do not understand the effects that it's going to cause in the long run to their brains. Improved mental function is another effect that is known with the spice. Mental function is another effect of the spice that has been used while the drug has been smoked. The other use of drugs in order to feel general stimulation and to seek a euphoria for the amount of time that the drug lasts. Other people don't realize that this euphoria will not be there after the use of this drug because it damages your brain, and it also releases too much serotonin. So serotonin is what gives you happiness, and if you use too much of it, it's harder for your brain to gain it back. Some negative effects of the K2 are altered perception and hallucinations. Some users expect hallucinations, and this is why they use the drug, but others who are not used to this, will go into shock and have also been reported to go having seizures. The shock and seizures have also led people into comas, and some people who go on comas never recover. According to Hugh, a few other effects the K2 drug has is rapid heart rate, increased blood pressure, vomiting, and confusion. Suicide attempts have also been recorded while using this drug. Scientists have found that there are far more serious effects of the synthetic cannabis compared to normal marijuana. The majority of the users are only aware of the positive effects of the synthetic cannabinoid. They also choose to use synthetic over marijuana for a number of reasons. One of the use for K2 is because it doesn't show up on a normal drug screening test. Kids use this if they get tested for sports they're in, or young adults use it, or even older adults because they have a job that drug tests them, so they don't want to fail for use of any kind of drugs. Others who are sensation seekers or like to experiment with drugs do it because it is talked up by the media, or the people that they associate themselves with use these drugs for fun. It is used in place of marijuana because it's known to be legal, and they feel that since it can be bought at stores, that it isn't bad for them. Most consumers feel that if it was harmful to them, then it wouldn't be able to be sold in the stores around the world. However, what they don't realize is that many of the chemicals are banned, and they simply just alter a part of the compound that provide a loophole and lets that chemical be able to be sold again. However, it's just as unsafe as before, or even more unsafe than the first one. Let's see, some younger users that use these drugs are just eager to use marijuana, but they pick K2 over it because it's easier to get their hands on. They also choose the synthetic cannabis because they are afraid of the legal consequences they may get into if they are caught with an illegal substance. The safety factors are usually not what is on the user's mind at the time. Research has made it safe to say that these drugs are rather harmful for the consumer. Hugh states that the government is trying to find ways to ban the compounds that are found in each of these synthetic drugs. However, the drug makers are finding various ways to find loopholes in the system and are continuing to create these drugs and these compounds even though they are unsafe to the humans. As more and more research is done on these synthetic cannabinoids, there will be information about exactly what compounds are in these products, but the more research that's done, the harder it will be for the creators to make these drugs in each different compound. The more information that is released will also inform consumers of how harmful these drugs are and decrease the amount of synthetic cannabinoids that are sold and are consumed yearly. Schaller says that even though the JWH compound were intended for good use, that when it was invented in the 90s, that its purpose has escalated into an epidemic across America and other countries that they are trying to put an end to.